Good luck, y'all. We'll break a leg.
Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. I am David Adam Gill, the Artistic Director for New Ambassadors Theater Company. Welcome to New Ambassadors Theater Lab 49, one less than 50, which is crazy. We've been doing this for a while now. Tonight, we have an exceptional lineup of new theater for you. And we have the perfect person to tell you all about it, Miley Binion, who is a company member and an executive board member as well, and the secretary. I guess I got to add all those titles. And we did the newsletter together. She's just the busiest person besides me and Jennifer. She is our host tonight, so we're gonna throw it over her way. Welcome, Miley, and thank you so much for taking this on tonight.
Thank you for, as always, lovely introduction. Hello, everybody. David already introduced you, so you know most everything about me, and most of you have met me either on Zoom or in person. But for those of you who are new, actually, everyone who's new on Zoom, why don't you give us a wave so we can welcome all of the new members properly? Oh, it's just, how do you say it?
Sayini.
Sayini. Welcome, Sayini, and I'm sorry to single you out. I wasn't sure if we had other people who were also new, but welcome. We're so excited to have new people and old joining us. It's an incredible night ahead of us. For those of you, if it's your first lab, this is a lab development series we do. It's new works that are still in process. They get read for feedback, and then we have discussions after each piece. First, I will introduce our playwrights, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the feedback process and the questions we typically ask. We have three fabulous playwrights: Devin Alex Sumner, Erin Mohan, and Natalie Necky Farrow. Very excited. It's going to be an amazing night. Snaps, claps, whatever you do. So typically our feedback, what we do is after each playwright reads, and we have wonderful actors reading for every play, then we go into feedback. It usually consists of what we call popcorn moments. So anything that stood out to you, anything that would really grab your attention that you'd want to see more of, or that you just will definitely stick with you, quotable lines, funny moments, anything you'd want to grab popcorn and watch. Then we also have questions you may have had, things that confused you, or moments where you possibly dropped out for a minute. Then we like to talk about things you want to see developed more, things you'd love to see, if you'd love to see it turned into a full length, characters you'd want to see more of, things like that. And then we also always ask our writers if they are looking for something specific, because this is first and foremost for our writers. We do this for them. It's very helpful for them. And so if they're looking for something specific in this read through, they'll ask us to look out for it. I think that's a pretty general overview of what we're going to do tonight. Please stay tuned at the end, because we're going to have exciting announcements about upcoming events for new ambassadors and company members, and I really am excited to tell you all about them. For those of you on Zoom, we encourage you to use the Zoom chat for gut reactions as we go on. The playwrights love that, and we all enjoy it. And for those of you who are on YouTube, we encourage you to also use the chat. Please keep it lively. Let us know what you're thinking. We love to see it. We really do. And with all of that said, I think we can
actually one more thing, Miley.
Yes.
For those of you in the Zoom, if you're shy, and you know, actors sometimes are, who knows, but mostly for people on YouTube, we do have a feedback form that mirrors all the questions that are going to be asked and discussed. There's a forum that if you feel strongly, and again, this is one of the most important parts of a playwright's evolution of a play, development of the play, is getting feedback, making sure that the things that they have on the page are resonating, that they're communicating everything. So that feedback link will be posted on YouTube as well as in the chat here. And feel free to, it has all three playwrights listed on it and the same question. So, and we will post that every time a new play goes up. Please utilize it.
Yes, thank you. That's one of the most important things that I just completely forgot. So as we go on, I'll also talk about other links and other ways you can stay involved in the company, and those will also be posted on YouTube along with the feedback link. So thank you, David. Our first playwright is Devin Alex Sumner. The play is called Boulevard East, Tango in the Night. So I will pass this on to Devin to introduce his lovely cast and get started.
Thank you, Miley. Yes, this is my ongoing project to stop being afraid to write a pilot. My cast is Daniel Anthony Hidalgo, my first and ephemeral and probably eternal Valerio now. Perrin Pomado, who played Rowan once and is playing Rowan again and is part of the exciting announcement at the end of this lab. I got Chase Naylor, who's also played Topher before, very familiar. I have fangirled over Priyanka Krishnan since Heartbroke and finding out she was on Younger for a bit, which I saw when I finished Younger, playing Adea, and I'm excited. And I have Jen Bradley, who's very familiar with how I write dummy lyrics and my Dum Dum Diddle versions, who's been a very vital part of this development. So I leave it to them. Thank you.
Boulevard East, number 101, Tango in the Night, by Devin Alex Sumner. Exterior, the Esplanade, a street sign where the Esplanade meets Witchwood Drive. A brawny man, cloaked in a black hoodie, walks up to the Esplanade and makes a turn to walk down Witchwood Drive. Exterior, Castillo Centillion home, night. The grand home of the family from a decade ago on Witchwood Drive, still well maintained. Interior Castillo Centillion home, master suite. Valerio and Rowan are asleep. Rowan's quarterback bulk spoons Valerio's lean frame. All is well until the distinctive chime of the alarm system being disarmed sounds. Valerio awakens with a gasp, as if his soul is coming back into his body, and jolts upright. He scans the dark of the room. Rowan is barely bothered out of his sleep. Quiet. Valerio grabs his cell phone and hastily scans the security app for any signs of the intruder, but nothing. He tosses his cell phone back. He looks over to Rowan, who's still blissfully asleep.
Rowan.
No response. Valerio gives Rowan a shove.
Rowan.
Rowan stirs awake, gets his bearings, realizing it's still the middle of the night.
Valerio, what?
The killer is literally in the house.
What?
Someone disarmed the alarm system.
Alarm system? How?
Does it look like I know how some stranger got the code?
I'm sure it isn't one of your parents. We're in their old house.
When has my mother not wanted me to know she's gracing me with her presence? Or my father, for that matter.
You check your message at least?
Valerio shakes his head and gets to his feet, and scrambling to put on whatever clothing he can find, he starts to make his way to the door.
Oh, wait, where are you going?
In the time you're taking to rationalize, the killer's grabbed a butcher knife and is making his way up the stairs.
And you're going to meet him.
Valerio considers.
Can you at least
call the cops while I get dressed?
Valerio huffs, then relents, making his way to his cell phone as Rowan tries to shake off the sleep and get out of bed. Then a subdued thumping beyond the bedroom door coming from the front door. Both still. Valerio sends a text to Topher. Witchwood now. Thumping.
Maybe it's someone who needs help?
in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere?
Hell, we're not in the middle of nowhere. 9W is barely a mile away.
Then there's plenty of places for them to go for help in the middle of the night. AAA, Nick's Towing, the Exxon in Fort Lee.
Thumping, thumping.
I can't call anyone.
Who doesn't have a charger in their car, Boomer?
Rowan is on his feet and getting dressed.
I mean, it could be an old car. Your brother's 85 Eldorado sitting in the garage.
What does my brother's car have to do with anything?
I'm just trying to make a point, Valerio.
If it isn't the killer at the front door, it's the killer in the house right now who's going to snatch me in the middle of the night while you pontificate.
Well, just call the police, or at least Topher, and I'll go see what's going on.
Sent Topher a text.
Thumping.
And so starts our home invasion movie.
We'll both be fine, Val. Besides, didn't your mother do some kind of home protection voodoo to this place?
Brujería. And it was my grandmother. My mother barely practices.
Rowan flashes a grin at Valerio, gives him a peck on the cheek, then makes his way out the door and towards the stairs. Valerio, after a huff and a half eye roll, follows him. Interior, Castillo Centillion home. Grand entrance. Rowan makes his way down the stairs, Valerio a few steps behind. Rowan arrives at the front door, then Valerio. Rowan looks back at Valerio, still finding this all humorous.
Ready?
Save for the fact that there's probably already someone in the house. Do you, boo?
Rowan looks through the peephole at nothing but the curved view of the still of Witchwood Drive. He pulls back, checks again for his sanity, and the same. Rowan pulls open the front door and looks out to the still of Witchwood Drive to confirm and probably play on Valerio's fears.
Probably gave up because we were taking too long.
You pontificated. I was ready to fight.
Rowan turns to give Valerio a kiss on the forehead. In the distance behind Rowan, Redcoat is standing there. Valerio spots Redcoat and glares. Rowan senses, then turns to see the sight of Redcoat standing at the curb of the house on Witchwood Drive.
Who's that?
Valerio crosses Rowan and makes his way out to the street towards Redcoat.
Val.
Rowan tries to follow, but Valerio throws him a look and Rowan stops. Valerio gets to Redcoat. Redcoat stays behind the curb on the street. Valerio steps at the edge of the curb on the property.
Good to know my abuela's prayers still protect this home. Care to take a step forward?
Redcoat stays put. Valerio puts his face close to the faceless.
Then again, wasn't it you who taught me to see how powerful I am? Whatever it is you're trying to do, bring it. By now you should know it's better to be with me than against me.
A standoff of wills. Rowan doesn't know how to intervene. Then, sound of the garage door opening. Valerio and Rowan turn towards it. An engine roars to life, and the headlights of an '85 Cadillac Eldorado burst on. A fire mist red cabbie slowly rolls out of the garage and stops in the driveway. As the engine idles, the driver's window is open. The driver, cloaked in a black hoodie, is Hollister. Staring forward, face and eyes blank. Rowan is overwhelmed at the sight of his best friend, so long estranged due to the facility.
Hollister?
Valerio takes a few steps closer to the Eldorado, enough to get a better view of Hollister, past the glare of the headlights and through the windshield. Hollister stares past his brother. Tires screech, and the Eldorado speeds away. Valerio takes a quick breath to steady. Redcoat turns and begins to walk towards the dark of the night down Witchwood Drive. Rowan watches Redcoat. Valerio doesn't look in Redcoat's direction, just listens to the steps. Interior, Castillo Centillion home, master suite. Rowan sits in a lounge chair, staring out the windows, letting his thoughts rise like the morning sun. Valerio steps into the room with caution.
Topher's on his way.
Rowan tries to shake out of his thoughts.
That woman in the red coat. You know her?
Possibly.
Possibly. Or do.
Rowan takes a good look at Valerio. He knows there's more, but refrains from igniting the issue.
Valerio, your brother's my best friend. If something's going on with him, I want to know.
I wouldn't hide anything from you, Rowan.
Rowan gets to his feet and moves to close the space between him and Valerio. The innate love Rowan feels for Valerio takes over.
Will Topher be expecting anything out of you this morning?
Topher isn't one to take your sloppy seconds.
Rowan wraps his arms around Valerio's lower torso. His hands travel below Valerio's waist and grasps what is his.
Good. Remember, I don't have a problem reminding him or anyone else exactly what's mine.
Hey, Valerio.
Valerio and Rowan exchange a sly grin and are slightly disappointed the mood's been broken. Valerio pulls himself away from Rowan and makes his way out the door. Rowan stands alone, knowing that Valerio hides things from him all the time.
A red coat? Like the one those bitches wore on Pretty Little Liars?
Interior Castillo Santillan home. Topher, Rowan, and Valerio are discussing events to the now empty garage and driveway.
Do you even know what we're talking about, old man?
I watched the show a couple of times with Valerio in bed.
Funny. When I'm in bed with Valeria, the last thing we do is watch TV.
Topher,
What the fuck are you doing in Witchwood Drive, Val?
my brother and I got the house in our parents' divorce.
I know that. Why aren't you at your new penthouse on Boulevard East?
Topher throws a look toward Rowan.
Something you're trying to hide? Do you not fucking him in his childhood bed? Remind you of when he was 15? How old were you again? 25? No wonder you're heavily recruited by Penn State.
Enough! Topher, you're supposed to be helping.
Okay, I'll help. Who the fuck do you think this lady in the red coat is?
Claudia Lorley.
Her? I thought you got her canceled.
Her show, Topher, not the majority of her following or her life.
Claudia Lorley? What? Wasn't she the
Medical medium? Walked around accosting people at the Whole Foods, telling them the real reason their back hurt while they were trying to buy biodynamic kale. That's Claudia Lorley.
Didn't you do a couple of guest appearances on her show, Rowan? For the sore shoulder?
Why would she do all this?
Gotta get me back in her life somehow.
There's no better way to do that than to prove she can help you with your brother.
This infers something about Topher and Rowan, which gives them a split second of a thought. Then it's lost. Topher shakes off a pang of pain in his head. Rowan adjusts his shoulder slightly.
Well, you can't think that you can fix your brother's CTE.
Think. Trying.
Valerio, a bum shoulder is one thing. Hollister's brain, it's beyond repair. He's losing brain matter.
Missing brain matter is the easiest part to solve. Right, Topher?
Right.
I need to get to Pine Valley.
I'll take you to the facility, Val. Gives me a chance to chat with hospital security.
Knowing Claudia, she stayed undetected.
Let me go with you.
Why, Rowan?
So I can help.
Your wife is already on her way here to take you to the airport. Topher and I can handle this.
Valerio's jab catches Rowan by surprise. Valerio turns to head toward the house. Topher takes his cue to follow, but now without a quick smirk at Rowan. Interior, Castillo Santillan home in the master bath. Valerio showers while Topher putzes around, happy to be getting the time.
When's Adea getting here?
She's on her way.
Gotta admit, I love the look on Rowan's face.
There wasn't a look. His wife was going to pick him up anyway.
Still is funny.
Topher, Rowan's a constant, as are you.
Me being the constant you only put up with.
Topher, you wouldn't be allowed in my presence if I didn't want you in it. And reminder, you were my first official boyfriend.
Not true. We messed around when we were 16. Rowan got to Sandusky you for a good year before that.
All us loose prep school girls wanted a 25-year-old boyfriend.
Valerio finishes his shower, goes about drying himself. Valerio wraps a towel around his waist and attends to the mirror. He works with a tincture bottle with a serum and a mason jar with a cream to moisturize his face as Adea arrives.
You hands clucking about me?
Gotta be worth clucking about first.
Behaving there, Toph.
Adea throws Valerio a look in the mirror to check for the truth.
He's good.
Adea accepts for now.
Then what you boys do to get my Rowan in a mood?
Adea flashes Valerio her wedding ring.
Yeah, he put a ring on this?
Maybe he needs to check his T levels, D. Rowan's getting up there. What is he, 35 now?
Rowan's got no problems being a man, Topher. And yeah, we're both 35 there, youngin'.
Should check your levels too.
And what is your brother doing off the facility, Rio?
Valerio takes a beat.
Assisted escape.
Right, from that medium trick running around in a designer raincoat.
I'm headed to the facility with Topher this morning.
Rowan goes back to LA today. Need me to stay with you tonight?
Why would you do that?
You know, somebody's got to protect Rio's skinny ass.
D, I've got a gun. I can protect skinny ass.
Can you really?
I'm a fucking cop, D.
Adea throws Topher side eye and something taps him back ever so slightly.
D, stop. Security at the choir girl is enough, and Topher's an elevator right up to the penthouse.
I'm gonna go take a look around before we head out to the Pine Valley. See if Redcoat and your brother have any plans to come back here.
Redcoat can't come into this house. Only my brother.
Topher notes that mentally, then exits.
For real, Rio, Topher ain't enough right now.
D, I'm aware of what I'm dealing with when it comes to my brother.
His mind ain't yours right now.
Maybe there's a beauty in that.
Interior and exterior Castillo Centillion home. Topher explores the garage. Rowan making his way up the driveway and into the garage.
Hey, Topher.
Topher turns, about to respond, then Topher shoves him against the wall and pins him there with a forearm across the chest.
Wanted to remind you that you will never be first in Valerio's heart.
Rowan, you're threatening an officer of the law.
I don't give a fuck what you are. When it comes to Valerio, you're nothing but one of his fucking pawns.
Don't kid yourself, Rowan. You're Valerio's ultimate pawn.
The statement hits Rowan. He retreats. Topher adjusts back to swagger.
I was already dumb as shit before what happened up here, and I get it. Both of us kind of blind when it comes to Valerio. Doesn't change the fact that you've always been his ultimate experiment.
Topher goes in for the kill.
Hope that clears up where you stand in Valerio's life.
Topher saunters away. Interior Castillo Centillion home, master suite. Valerio is suited up. Adea wants to continue. Rowan appears at the door.
Adea, we should get going.
Okay, Ro.
Rowan walks away. Adea and Valerio exchange a look. Topher saunters in.
Almost ready to go, Val?
What did you say to Rowan?
Topher grins. Exterior Castillo Centillion home. In the driveway, Adea helps Rowan load up the SUV. Rowan struggles a bit with the pain in his shoulder. Adea helps with the heavy lifting handily. At the curb is a lifted, blacked out, tinted F-150. Topher is leading Valerio towards it. Valerio stops Topher to take in the sight and also ponder how to get into it. Rowan's attention starts to get drawn towards their interaction.
Seriously, Topher?
Fresh from a wash and detail.
If this wasn't so on brand for you, I'd be gooped. How am I supposed to get in?
That's the easy part.
Topher opens the passenger door and gestures for Valerio to come forward. Valerio steps closer, and Topher, as if Valerio was a bride, scoops him up.
Topher!
Topher places Valerio in the passenger seat.
There you go, princess.
This will be the only time I'm riding in this monster.
Good. I got another monster you could ride.
Topher gives Valerio a quick peck on the cheek and closes the door. Topher turns toward Adea and Rowan in the driveway.
Learn how to collect your boy, Rowan.
Both Rowan and Adea want to react, both stand their ground. Topher jumps into his truck, the engine roars, and it speeds away down Witchwood Drive. Scene.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. I forgot the stage direction where Redcoat didn't have a face.
Right.
Thank you so much, Devin. Thank you to all of those actors. That was great. I'm glad I was muted. I kept making squeals and it was so messy. Okay, so let's start with Devin. Remind me, did you have anything specific you were looking for?
No, I always struggle with clarifying the references, making sure when people know this who've been in class for me, I hate clunky and expositional. So I'm trying to see if me actually explaining who everybody is comes off as easy and conversational rather than this is Rowan and this is Valerio and this is what they do.
Okay, great. So let's start with that. Does anyone have any thoughts? Yes.
I did want to say something because I'm obviously I'm more intimate with this piece, that your dialogue does the work, and your dialogue it's so sharp and it's so just enough at this point that it's interesting. It moves the story forward, and it shows the relationships between the characters without being exposition. Through conflict, through the dialogue. I think you do a really good job with it, especially in this piece, which is why I was so pleased that this was the one that you were gonna present. Yeah.
Fantastic. Does anyone have any thoughts specifically about that? Exposition, any clunkiness, descriptions of characters? Was there anything that was still unclear?
I was going to say something very similar to that. So just what he said.
More of that.
The actors did a really great job too.
They did.
They did a really great job.
All of the character work was very clear. I agree, if that matters at all. Okay, so let's move on to popcorn moments then. Anything that stood out?
I have one more. I have a popcorn moment that made me laugh. And it's when, I'm not sure of the line, Devin, but he says brain matter is the easy part of it or something like that.
Yeah.
And he says, right, Topher? And Topher goes, what?
Yeah.
It always makes me laugh because with Topher's brain matter is missing. So that made me laugh. And that was a real, that for some reason I didn't catch it in class. And I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. So there you go.
That's great.
I'm
really glad you remembered that one because I laughed so hard when it happened. Another one for me was just the beginning. Everything Rowan was saying, I put this in the chat, but everything Rowan was saying, it really felt like we were in a horror movie and Rowan was about to die. Just everything Rowan does is exactly like traditional slasher movie. First person who's going to be killed, which I just thought was really entertaining. Okay, anyone other than me? Popcorn moments. Yes, Priyanka.
Yeah, I had a tiny one. I love the boomer line. I was shitting my pants. It was great. And the reason it was great was you almost think it's going in a slightly murdery direction. And I mean this purely dramaturgically. There's something sexy about the idea of murder, hence You on Netflix. But and the okay boomer, the boomer line, it's funny and it's so sexy at the same time. So the fact that you see the nondescript face shortly around just surrounding that moment, it was really, really nice. And that it's what David said, you just use the right number of words and the exact right your dialogue gives all of the relationships away to both inanimate and human objects. Jesus, I'm gonna shut up, you know what I mean.
But even the word boomer, right? The word boomer says there's a relationship in age to one group to the next. I mean, it's the right word to use without being expositional.
No, I completely agree. Okay, we will move on then. I'm going to skip over questions because that was pretty similar to what you asked specifically. And I feel like we kind of covered that and everyone agreed it was pretty clear. So let's go into development, things people want to see developed more. Anybody?
For this one, there's clearly like a lot of lore that exists within this world that you've created. Things that you hint at, i.e. the facility and the procedures and things that have happened to characters within this piece that I don't know if I've been present for any of the readings that explain some of those. So, I mean, maybe it's already been explored and I just haven't gotten to see those pieces yet. But I'm really interested to see like sort of the rules of the world that you've built further explored.
Yeah, this is actually backpacking kind of on what Chase just said. Every time that I've like been able to read a script like this, it's always something, and I mean this in like a good way. I'm always like, I want to know more about this world that they're in. Like, it's like the picture hasn't been fully painted just yet, but like, I'm really interested to know like, what exactly is this world? Is it like, because obviously it's like kind of set in reality, but kind of not. And it's just like I find it very interesting. So for me, that's a really good thing because with every time I read it, I'm like, it's always just like a thing where I'm just like, okay, like what's going on in this world? I just want to know more about this. So yeah, that for me.
In that sense, it reminds me of True Blood.
Oh yeah.
You know,
or like Riverdale, one of those where it's like very like sexy teen drama rules, which are a completely different universe than the one we live in as far as things that make sense.
But it's also that thing where it's like it's like, okay, it's not a complete, like for True Blood, for example, it's like, it's not completely set in a vampire world, but it's not completely set in reality. So it's just like a little bit, yeah.
It's like a magic tinged Melrose Place.
Yeah.
Yes. David, I think you were trying to say something.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, you're muted, David.
Yes, I am. It has because of that, because I'll just blurt out stuff. It has its own mythology. The thing here that I think might be interesting that Devin and I have been talking about is this the pilot? Is this where you first see the characters? If you've been a part of the readings before and you know more about the characters, have you decided, or for this iteration, this is where you're meeting the characters and relationships are being established? And in that case, does it work? You want to see more, you want to see how these relationships develop, you want to see what the facility is, the relationship. There's like a it's not a love triangle, it's a love rectangle, really, between Adea and Rowan and Valerio and Topher, and where that's going and how that even came to be. And then what the magic is in just bringing up the tease of, the brain matter. Once I help your brother, brain matter is the easy part of it, right? So you're establishing a lot, but I think you're doing it in a compelling way, and in the process, giving us more information about relationships and character and stuff like that.
Great. Thank you. I completely agree. So we have a couple minutes left. If anyone has any additional thoughts, doesn't have to be about development, can just be general thoughts off the dome about this piece. Yes, Ben.
I just want to say something, Devin. I miss hearing these in class. Just hearing these in class. I just, miss Valerio and this character. It's just
all the juicy drama.
This brings me back to those days,
Well, I'm glad you're part of tonight, so you could witness it. Give us a little hearkening of what it used to.
Congratulations on your first lab, Devin Alex Sumner. I love it. I love it.
Actually, not his first lab. He's been here
Not
before.
his first lab, but it was an excellent showing. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone. I think we are
well
good
done, Devin.
To move on. I'm going to remind you all. Thank you, Devin. Let's clap for Devin first before I stomp on his well-deserved applause. Just going to remind you all again what I forgot at the beginning, that there is a feedback link for anyone who didn't get to speak or anyone on YouTube watching who is just bubbling over with wonderful thoughts and feedback. Please use that feedback form. It's very important. The playwrights get it after, and they greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And we are now moving on to My Fiance's Best Friend at My Wedding by Erin Mohan, who will introduce her actors while I change my name because I am now in this too.
Yes. Oh, as Miley's changing her name, so blessed to have these amazing actors. Congratulations, Devin. All the actors in Devin's piece, you were amazing. So excited. My Fiance's Best Friend at My Wedding. What has happened prior, which was actually presented at another lab, but I've made a few changes. So the show starts with the sound of a VHS tape being put into a machine and being put in. You will hear that throughout this piece. It's important to know what happens at the start. Emily is 20 and engaged to Jonathan, who is 30. And he has invited his best friend, Sam, to their wedding. Sam and Jonathan had a deal if they were not married at 30 that they would marry each other. And Sam, as Emily's cousin Trixie has said, has been eye-banging Jonathan the entire time. So Emily is now super drunk, really upset. Trixie, her cousin, is now trying to shave Jonathan's head because she describes him as a walking haircut. And Sam is bursting into the room at this time. And that's all you need to know coming into this. If you were like me and grew up on 90s rom-com, hopefully some of this will seem familiar. My amazing cast, who I am, oh my gosh, when Miley and David emailed me this list, I almost fainted because they're so amazing. We have Miley Benyon as Emily, Chase Naylor as Jonathan, Ruthie Rado as Sam, and Priyanka Krishnan as Trixie, and the fabulous Jen Bradley as stage directions. They are all such amazing humans. I'm so excited to have them read, and I will turn it over to them because you don't need to hear me talk anymore. So take it away, gorgeous and amazing and talented humans.
My fiance's best friend at our wedding by Erin Mohan.
Just like that?
Well, there were more questions about sexual history in a variety of condoms used, and a discussion about what can be put in what holes. But yeah, basically that.
Okay.
You asked.
Trixie drinks from the bottle. Emily drinks from the bottle. Both drinks are a little longer than they should be, given how much they've drunk and how many family members are on the other side of the door, and they finish the bottle. Trixie, not missing a beat, pulls out a bottle of champagne or sparkling wine and pops the cork. They both start passing that bottle back and forth.
What do I do?
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
Because we could do some crazy fucking shit.
Like what?
Shave his fucking head to start.
Before the wedding.
Well, see how you can feel when he can't do his move.
That's your best.
That's my first. Also, see how you feel when his personality is in clumps on the floor.
And then what?
We shave her head.
But then they would be bald together and fall in love.
Emily starts sobbing. Jonathan runs back in.
What the hell did you do?
Goes up to Jonathan and puts a finger over his mouth, shushing him.
But
just shut it. I am going to move my finger and you are going to shh.
Trixie removes the finger and then goes to her bag. There's a moment of silence. Well, Emily is still crying and drinking.
what is happening?
Trixie puts one hand back on his mouth and puts him in a chair. She pulls out a rope from her purse and ties him in place. He tries to resist this, but she is really strong.
Did you just tie me to a chair?
She puts her hand back on his mouth when she is done and goes back searching through her purse with the other.
No, well, yes, but no. No talking from you. Shh, shh. Just one shh. I've almost.
Trixie pulls out a battery-powered razor, or clippers if that's your jam.
What the hell?
Just hold still. This will only take a moment.
Jonathan struggles and falls over.
Trixie!
Anything for you, babe. Anything for family.
Trixie approaches with the razor on. Jonathan screams.
No.
Cries. The sound of a tape rewinding. 3 actors do their actions in reverse, but not actually saying their lines in reverse. Jonathan is still tied up and is quite impressive that he's able to get the chair righted himself.
Did you just tie me to a chair?
She puts her hand back on his mouth when she is done and goes searching through her purse with the other.
No, well, yes, but no. No talking from you. Shh. Just one. Shh. I've almost.
Trixie pulls out a battery-powered razor or clippers if that's your jam.
What the hell?
Trixie!
You'll think more clearly once you realize what a...
Sam comes into the room, her back initially to the action. She is cool, not like what men think is cool on a woman, but actual cool, and crazy self-confident, but not cocky. Okay, mildly cocky.
Johnny, I thought you were getting someone to deal with Uncle Bobby.
She turns and sees the chaos.
Johnny?
Help. Get help.
Johnny falls over in the chair.
No, you wait. You're next.
Trixie revs the razor. Not that razors do this, but hey, Trixie can do almost anything.
Personality adjustment.
I'm fine, but maybe you could...
Could what? Help with Uncle Bobby. That's impossible.
Then maybe Jonathan?
Nope.
So what is the plan here? Ruin the wedding?
Oh, you're doing that pretty well all by yourself.
I'm not ruining anything.
Liar.
Finished the bottle. Tossing it to the ground, it shatters.
Fuck!
Oh, Emily, are you okay?
Like you care.
I do care.
Stop lying, you fucking bitch.
Emily, what have I done?
Besides trying to bang my fiance.
Emily, that's not what is happening.
Trixie shoves something in Jonathan's mouth. Probably a napkin, but it could be more interesting than that.
Thank God, you're finally seeing it.
I'm not trying to.
Everyone shut the fuck up.
Everyone does. It's actually really shocking that Emily is doing this.
That's better. Now, where was, ruining my wedding, banging my fiance?
Technically, that was 10 years ago? You were what, 9, 10?
I said shut up.
Emily grabs the razor from Trixie and revs it at Sam.
Okay, shutting up.
Emily revs the razor again.
Saying you're shutting up isn't actually shutting up.
Exactly, bitch.
Yeah, like, who do you think you are? You can talk now.
I'm just, Jonathan and I weren't right for each other from the start. It was bad.
So you've mentioned before.
Like, epically bad.
I understand that.
You both are talking about my fiance.
Oh, honey. Well, he kind of sucks.
I wouldn't say that.
Of course you wouldn't. You're trying to bang him.
Would everyone stop saying I'm trying to bang him?
Jonathan spits out his makeshift gag.
You're not?
What?
You gotta be kidding me, dude.
It's not like I want something to happen, but...
Yes!
Eyes at Sam, tackling her, brandishing the razor as a weapon.
Yes!
Shit!
The sound of a tape rewinding. The four actors do their actions in reverse, but not actually saying their lines in reverse. This involves Trixie putting the gag back into Jonathan's mouth.
I'm just, Jonathan and I weren't right for each other from the start. It was bad.
So you've mentioned before.
Like, epically bad.
I understand that.
You both are talking about my fiance.
Oh, honey. He kind of sucks.
I wouldn't say that.
Of course you wouldn't. You're trying to bang him.
Would everyone stop saying I'm trying to bang him?
Jonathan spits out his makeshift gag. Trixie immediately puts it back in.
Because you're not trying to?
No, of course not. I'm engaged. What? No, of course not. I'm engaged. Trixie, I'm engaged.
Oh,
Wait, I think the internet died, and I think
it did.
everybody's frozen, and this is terrible, and it's on the internet forever now.
You're unfrozen
back
now.
now.
She
Yeah.
said you're engaged.
Oh, awesome. All right.
No, of course not. I'm engaged. What?
The very, very gay man out there is your fiance.
He's not.
No, he wasn't having sex with waiter in the bathroom.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Just stop lying.
Oh, and you haven't been lying?
You are not.
Not one what? To talk? Because you've been talking this whole time about how you have no female friends and how you want to make me your best friend too, and that I'm your maid of honor, and what? I wasn't supposed to see what you were doing?
I wasn't doing anything.
Ooh, the plot. It thickens.
Trixie pulls out more booze from her purse and sits on the side of Jonathan's overturned chair. He is less than pleased with this and grunts his disapproval.
Really? You just liked me immediately?
Yes.
Bullshit.
I mean, not immediately. But that was when I first heard about you. Then I did some mild internet stalking.
Stalking?
Only mild.
Jonathan started talking about you so much. I mean, it was weird that he hadn't mentioned you before, that we hadn't met prior to the wedding, seeing how close you two claim to be.
Fun.
We were just busy. It's what happens in your 30s. It doesn't mean you're not close.
And I saw all this stuff about you, like your amazing, a woman rising in power in the world of men, making no apologies for your talent or power, and just being your own person, like a whole fuck everyone else's opinion person. I wanted to know someone like that. Someone else like that. Trixie is, but your family, you have to talk to me. I wanted someone else to.
Emily starts to cry. She comes over and gives her the bottle. Emily starts to drink again.
Didn't realize. I just thought.
What? That all women are out to get each other? That all straight women want to steal someone else's man?
That you were this perfect, puffy person that was stealing my best friend away. And that you were out to get all women. It's the world I'm from. It's not a sisterhood. It's like there's only one seat for a woman and you have to step over the bodies of others to get there.
That is so sad.
Emily goes up and hugs Sam.
I'm so sorry. You smell so good.
Jonathan spits out his gag.
That is so hot.
Are you ever not disgusting?
Ladies, not to interrupt, but I'm still tied and I would like to.
Nope, not yet.
Trixie puts the gag back in. Emily starts petting Sam's hair. Sam pulls away, or tries to. Emily will not let her. Drunk Emily is Trixie strong.
Okay, that's okay. I'm good.
You're so pretty.
Thank you. Can I have my hair back? Or
so good.
Thanks, but I'd really.
So smart.
And again, thanks, but.
Really a total bitch who's full of shit.
Sam jerks herself away.
What?
Your paper website employs a ton of women. 50% of all employees. And most leadership roles are filled by women.
That's just.
And you primarily review women, so.
Yes, we are very pro-women, but when I was starting out.
I might have lied when I said mild internet stalking.
Being single is tough.
I wouldn't know.
I think you could do better than that.
Okay, cool girl. How's this?
Emily throws Sam down and straddles her. The audience should not be able to see Sam's head. Emily holds the razor high and then descends on Sam. Hair is flying.
This is amazing. I feel like I should be singing something from Sweeney Todd.
Jonathan spits the gag out.
Emily, what are you doing?
You still want her now?
Emily gets up and reveals Sam, who now has a very close buzz cut and hair all around on the ground. Sam looks even better than before.
Damn.
Damn.
Damn it. Let me try again.
Girl, I'm going to take that from you before you actually kill someone.
Fuck.
You actually look even hotter.
Fuck.
Why are you upset?
You just forcibly shaved my head.
Emily drinks more.
Fuck.
Question. Why do either of you want Jonathan anyway? Like, ladies, you could do way better.
Hey.
You know, it's true. You are way out of your league here, buddy, and I want to know why.
Jonathan tosses his head back to let his hair flop in that way that all the 90s rom-com stars did.
We're all in the same league.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that, but seriously, why him?
Love him.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I love him.
Okay, we're going to talk about that.
I love him.
Sure you do, honey, but Sam,
loves him too, and he loves her.
He loves anything with nice boobs and a vagina.
Hey!
Oh, and a taut ass.
I am more.
I will re-gag you.
Jonathan shuts up.
Sam, something you want to share with the class?
I'm good.
You love this walking haircut, really?
Yes, he's my best friend.
My mum is my best friend, and I'm not declaring my passionate love for her.
This is different.
And why now?
Because he's about to get married, and if I don't declare my love now, when? It's...
Trixie gets up in Sam's face.
Why?
Because I miss him.
Call or text. Why ruin the wedding?
I need him.
Need or... Love.
Can't it be both?
Is it?
I just,
And why bring what's his name?
Pierre,
That guy. Why?
to make Jonathan jealous.
Worked.
Not helping.
Ah. And if the sex was so bad.
It wasn't that
It was
bad.
so bad.
What?
So he's in love with someone else. Trash in bed. You barely talk. Why now?
Trixie keeps approaching Sam, getting more in her face until the final why.
Why?
Because
Why? Why?
Sam grabs Trixie and kisses her passionately. Sam releases Trixie, who stumbles backwards. Trixie is at a loss for words.
that.
What?
Okay. That's hot.
No, shut up.
Emily puts the gag back in Jonathan's mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that happened.
The sound of a tape rewinding. The four actors do their actions in reverse, but not actually saying their lines in reverse. This involves Jonathan spitting the gag out. Trixie and Sam are standing nose to nose.
Why?
Pierre is a terrible beard.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Sam grabs Trixie and kisses her passionately. Sam releases Trixie, who stumbles backwards. Trixie is at a loss for words.
That.
What?
Okay. That's hot.
Oh, shut up.
Emily puts the gag back in Jonathan's mouth. Trixie goes up and kisses Sam.
Wow.
Scene.
Thank you, everyone. And me. No, thank you, Erin. Thank you, Erin, for such a fun play. Thank you guys for bearing with me while I switch hats. That was a blast. Okay. Well, I do this. So, Erin, is there anything you are looking for in particular with this read through?
Jess, do you want to hear more? Did it make sense? Does the rewind device work? I mean, I know it's like the first introduced for at a lab, but I'm just trying to figure that out. Basically, all the questions you normally ask.
Yeah. I was gonna use this as the popcorn, but since it's part of your question, I wanted to bring it up. Like, very few plays have it's I'm trying to like put it into words because it just sort of happened, but like I think it does work. And I also think it's a really awesome mechanic that in like plays, once something happens, it's like, all right, what happens next? But then when this happens, the audience gets this feeling of nothing is potentially final. So it creates this awesome like ether of things that could happen or be like, oh, frick, I hope that doesn't happen. Like, I hope that's rewound. And like I think it worked really well. And I really love the mechanic of the rewind because it adds something new. Like very few plays have something where it doesn't feel final, like the actions that the actors are literally doing on stage. So I thought it actually works really well the first time I read it and this time as well.
I agree. I want to piggyback on that really quick before I give it to someone else, and I'm sorry. Just because it reminds me a bit of, and maybe it's because I was growing up in the 90s and love 90s rom-coms and stuff, but it also reminds me of something else that was a pastime in the 90s, which was like fan fiction. It feels like the rewinds to me feels like someone writing fan fiction for like 90s movies or TV shows or books for some reason, where they're like replacing and filling it in with what they'd rather the characters have done, if that makes sense. Which I enjoyed. I thought it was very fun. Yes, Ruthie.
And I love a classic Erin physical comedy moment, which she writes so well. And the rewind really does that. I think, like, for me, the popcorniest funny moment is like the Jonathan has to rewind himself from laying down in the chair to back upright. Somehow, like, yeah.
So then I did make a note about the rewinds, and I thought they were a lot of fun. The last one ends the same way, so the things that actually don't necessarily happen and are final, this makes this more final to me. That they kiss and that the kiss is returned and that happened. Like there's no way out of that one, right?
Mhm.
That's what I got out of the last one, especially.
Me too.
I may have missed something, but I'm going to say this anyway and risk being wrong. The last one made me really feel like the rewinds were about the characters telling the truth. And what seemed different to me about the rewind the second time was it seemed like Sam admitted that she was a lesbian, whereas the first time we saw that she was, but we didn't see that personal admission. So it was still different, even though it was similar.
Can we do it one more time? Because I want to look for that now. That's a great idea.
You
Yeah.
want to rewind it just like the
Yeah,
play
can we
so you can
rewind
see
it?
the outcome again? Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's move on to more. We've already done a couple, but popcorn moments. Yeah, Devin-
My favorite line was, "We were busy. It's what happens in your 30s," which made me spit out what I was drinking.
Yeah, I was good. It was on mute. I was laughing out loud, almost fell out of my chair. But I love that she brought a beard too. You mean that gay man you came with? Just got me.
I love that she's
Sleeping
still.
with that guy in the back room. I was like, dead.
I know. I like that she still thought he was doing a good job until she found out about the sex and was like, "Damn it!" It's.
And was that the correct line where she called her Puffy? Because I heard Puffy. Okay, that was good too.
Puffy, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, yes. David and then Jennifer.
No, Jennifer can go.
Okay, Jennifer, then David.
This is totally separate from the play itself, but I really appreciate how you wrote out the stage directions, because I was like, it just sounds like how my mind thinks if I'm ever reading stage directions and what I feel like saying. And you've got, well, if that's a jam, I mean, or it's kind of amazing that he did it, but he did it, I just love that it almost felt like part of the play itself a little more than usual. So I just wanted to say that's just a personal nosh. We can knock that out later. We'll edit this part.
I was just going to say the I guess it's not really a bait and switch, but you think that Sam is after Jonathan because of their relationship, but she's I'm not sure if she's after Trixie or or what's going on there, but you think it's because of her romantic needs or desires for Jonathan, when it's absolutely not. But everyone is under that impression until that last moment. And I appreciated that, because I was like, oh, it's not Jonathan at all. He is really terrible.
This poor 20-year-old. Okay, let's move on to questions. We kind of covered this. So if anyone doesn't have any other immediate questions or moments where they dropped out, we can move on. Yes, Ruthie.
My question is, in the rewinds, why aren't the lines backwards? I don't mean like, but like in reverse order. Like, I don't know, just like director brain thinking that it could be very funny, to go backwards and be saying the lines normally, but in reverse order. I was wondering that.
Yeah, I would kind of agree. Like, I kind of wanted to hear that.
I think it'd be funny just to hear him go.
Yeah.
That would be my choice.
Just the Marvel Bros. David, did you have another question as well?
Yes, I did. I was not sure whose story it was. At first, I thought it was the hosts. What was your name? I have it right in front of me. I thought it was Emily's, but then it became Sam's. So I'm not sure if that was done on purpose. Whose story it was switched. from me.
Does that become more clear? I'm asking as well. Does that become more clear, fleshed out with the rest of the piece? I mean, do you already have it established? You know what I mean? Since this is just one scene. We frozen?
Oh.
Now, do you want to answer that, Erin?
I'm good.
Yeah, this is just, that's a question that she'll take into consideration.
Yes, sorry, I was waiting to hear, and then I realized you don't have to answer anything. Okay, so really quickly, we have a couple more minutes. Does anyone have any other questions first? No? Then we'll quickly touch on development. Anything, characters, things you'd like to see developed further?
What's gonna happen to the wedding? Like, they're still in this room, the entirety of the family is on the other side of the door. Like, when does this, like, beast come into the mix?
I agree. And I'm also wondering, because we keep having jokes about how terrible Jonathan is, and we keep having this rewind thing where people get to tell the truth and have come to these realizations. And so I wonder if the wedding's even going to happen, if Emily's also going to come to a realization at some point that, like, walking haircut does suck. Again, not saying that's the answer, but
does she only want him because someone else wants him?
Right, or is it, yeah, and then she has all of these older people who she's so impressed by and influenced by pointing out to her, and even you can hear her even at the end of this scene just getting infuriated by everything he says. So I'm curious to see where that goes.
I have to say that I did have one more popcorn moment, and it is the fact that it takes place in this room, and then everything, the wedding is on the other side, everyone that everybody knows is on the other side. And as is the case, the people who everything is happening for are holed up in a room arguing or renegotiating relationships or something like that. I think that's really wonderful.
I had another developmental curiosity. I'm so curious to see the manner in which all of Jonathan's red flags pop up, because he clearly sucks. And so far we've heard bad sex. So much more to come if there is, and like how they met and when all the bad shit comes up through the rewinds and stuff. It's really interesting.
Or is he bad at sex, or was Sam just a lesbian the whole time? Sorry.
Also could be a reason sex was so bad.
No, yeah, it's sex is sex if it hits the right buttons. I mean, I you know.
I mean, even bad sex is good, right?
Yeah, whatever. I do have a question,
it's
Erin,
a spectrum, baby.
and you can shake your head or whatever. The rewinds are new to this scene, but they weren't in the last scene, right?
They are in the new draft of the last scene. They just
Okay, all right. So that clears up a lot for me. Great, because it's a great conceit.
It is. So it's going to go through the entire thing. Okay.
No, I love
That's
it.
exciting.
It's great.
Okay, well, we are just about at time. Please use the feedback form if you think of anything else you'd love to say to Erin. Thank you again, Erin, for that hilarious work. Thank you to all the other actors who were incredible and a lot of fun to play with. Thank you all. All right, we are moving on to our final piece, Untitled One-Woman Show by Natalie Necky Farrow, and she will introduce the rest of her wonderful cast. Thank you very much. You're muted, darling.
I'm here. I just said lovely, glowing things about you, Erin. I love your work so much. So there we go. All right. So One Woman Show, I've been working on this for like over 2 years. So if you haven't seen my play up to this point, the actress is going through an existential crisis and trying to find her way back to her creativity and self-confidence. And we're picking up this today, sort of towards the end of the piece. And I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory. I have Soyini Crenshaw reading Gloria. I have Jasmine Spees reading ensemble number 1, and I have David Michael Kirby reading ensemble number 3, and the wonderful, I can't even talk right now, so this whole play is going to be slurred. I have wonderful Jennifer Bradley reading stage directions, and I'm playing the actress. Okay, let's do this.
Untitled one-woman show by Natalie Necky Farrow. Scene 6, Becoming. Ensemble members 1 and 3 enter the audience in an almost monastic state.
It's time to depart
From what she was
to what she is.
or will be.
Please respect the space you're entering
It is deeply sacred.
and spiritual.
Candles are lit.
The stage is set.
And then
Reveal the stage, set up like a home temple. All the furniture is gone. There are cushions and candles and crystals and cards, and most of all, love.
and
Silence.
The actress emerges down the center aisle. She is nervous and also more open and accepting than she has ever been before in this time and also in this play. As she approaches the edge of the stage, she reaches out as if to press a doorbell, which is also the threshold to another way of being. A chime sounds. Gloria, a life coach with deep spiritual roots, enters and approaches the threshold where the actress is standing, giving her the warmest and most encompassing hug. It seems to last forever and also be outside of time itself, synchronously. It is as if these two have always known each other, though they've never met in person. Gloria finally speaks.
Hi, love. I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
Do you need anything before we get started?
The actress in the present moment is still and silent. Meanwhile, her inner voice is quick to offer commentary about her inner experience, even as it contrasts to the outer form. The ensemble members speak, channeling the voice in the actress's head.
I had no idea even what to ask for, so I said,
I don't think so.
Water, tea, or a snack?
I was doing everything I could to not just fill the moment with the sound of my own voice. What could I possibly want or need?
I don't know.
Take your time, dear. Listen to your body.
so I did. Listen.
My insides felt so scared, uncertain, craving to be free and yet dragged through the kind of anxiety that happens to you.
When your body is clearly attached to a pattern of being a certain way and does the pattern, even though it's no longer relevant.
Water would be good. And tea. And a snack. I don't think I ate enough this morning.
Whatever you need, doll.
I watched as she rattled off the litany of all the possibilities. Finally, a smoothie.
That sounds good.
As we moved from her kitchen to her sacred space, I remember noticing all the things I was juggling.
It felt awkward and strange.
But also, I felt so grateful.
So seen, so taken care of.
What I've been desiring my whole life.
It's time.
Gloria guides the actress to her place on one of the two carefully laid out cushions. They both sit. Some kind of ethereal and meditative music begins.
Do you need anything else? We are here today to help you emerge as your fullest, truest self. I've read over your goals and intend to guide you towards them. I want you to receive everything you desire, and I also want to remind you that you are in process. it is highly likely that this day will unfold differently than you imagined it. Okay?
At this point, Gloria lights a candle.
Close your eyes. Start to focus on your breath. Feel your body in this moment. I call in your guides to lead you into what you most need today to step into the next phase of your journey. A place where you feel deep longing, where you can experience play and joy easily and effortlessly. Where you trust your talents as an actor and writer. If there is anything else, please add it to our intentions now.
I want to feel completely supported and loved, unconditionally.
Beautiful. Now, breathe it in. This new state of being. With each breath, let it fill you. Notice the places where this is challenging. Meet your observation with acceptance and love.
They sit for a while, and it is also very active. Perhaps emotions arise or not, and yet the actress is clearly going through something, and then it subsides.
Now, take one more deep breath and start to allow yourself to come back into this space.
As the actress opens her eyes, her inner voice begins to share once again.
I could easily spend the rest of this play sharing my experience from that day.
The actress and Gloria begin to embody a physical journey to match the telling of the experience she has been moving through.
The day that began my opening into a complete new state of being.
It would be so easy to attribute all of my success and shifts to that one day.
That would be both true
and not true.
Life is never that simple.
Everything that I have done helped create this moment, this day.
And every day after it.
So suffice it to say that what I will show you next didn't really happen that same day in this exact way.
And it did.
Time is a construct.
There's no past or future.
Only the present.
The movement continues as the coaching is now happening in real time. The ensemble remains as witnesses, part of the circle of support.
But I don't understand. How can I get to that place? The place where I belong. The place where I experience trust in every moment.
First, you must interrupt the pattern.
And then what?
Then you will replace it with a new compass. Clear guideposts so you know that you are acting in a new way instead of the old ways.
And that will get me there.
Yes, in time. But first, I need you to be with this new way. We cannot arrive at this compass from your present way of being. You have to let that go.
But what if I can't?
You can. Your ego is simply afraid of losing control, and it will lose control. And we will let it regain control after this exercise. Can you let go of having all the answers and allow them to emerge?
I guess so.
It is an act of trust. In some ways, you're already there. And also, you are never going to get there. There is no there. We are constantly evolving until we die. Or you can remain in stasis. It's a choice.
So how do I make that choice?
You simply choose to be reborn. You can do this now, or a week from now, or a month from now. The timetable is up to you.
It can't be that easy.
It may feel confronting and hard, but once you let go and accept the truth, there will be nothing but ease to lift you up.
Everyone tells me to let go. I want to do it, but how?
You must find the resolve to do so. You must intend to let go and keep committing to let go of all the things that don't serve you, of trying to figure it out, of trying to control the outcome, of all the stories, beliefs, patterns that are keeping you tethered to the past. These new ways of being can only live in the present moment.
I'm willing to try, but I don't think I can do it alone.
You are not alone. You are never alone. That is simply a lie the ego tells you to prevent you from experiencing freedom.
So what's the truth?
The entire universe is here to support you, right here, right now.
I do feel supported.
Let's begin. What do you need to let go of? Don't try to do it from your head. Say it out loud. Feel it. Let the words flow.
I need to let go of my parents' approval. Oh, I need to let go of needing to get things right or be good. I need to stop defining myself based on others' expectations.
Yes, keep going. And I want you to also move, shake, release it physically.
I need to stop assuming what other people want or need from me. I need to allow myself to expand past any limitations from the past or the present. I need to not be defined by my past. I have to allow myself to live fully in the present moment. I have to allow myself to not be hostage to myself. I have to stop judging myself based on my past decisions and mistakes. I have to understand and allow the ability to evolve, to be my greatest power.
Good, let go.
I'm letting go. I'm done. I'm done with all this garbage.
The actress collapses physically, mentally, emotionally.
How do you feel?
Exhausted. Empty.
Good. From exactly where you are, can you step into the feeling of trust?
I'm there.
Tell me, what do you notice?
It feels light and spacious. My jaw's unclenched. My shoulders are actually resting. What a relief. My breath feels wide and deep, like I'm breathing all the way down to my toes.
Now imagine making a decision from this place. How would that feel?
I feel so confident and aligned with the choice that I'm making.
What about your actions?
They're compassionate and connected to other people.
And your relationship with yourself?
I recognize my value in each and every moment to all the lives that I touch.
Your compass, darling, should choose to accept when making a decision or taking an action. Ask, in this decision or this action, am I recognizing my own value? Do I feel completely confident and aligned? Am I being compassionate to others and the world?
That's it. That's it.
Does this feel different from how you usually make decisions and take action?
Oh my God, yes. It feels completely different. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
The scene begins to fade as the ensemble voices once again speak the actress's inner thoughts.
That was the first time I knew.
Deep in my bones.
It doesn't matter what I did or what happened yesterday, last week, last year. 10 years ago.
All that matters is now.
Surrendering to the unknown doesn't mean I don't care.
It doesn't mean that I no longer need to do anything.
It just means that I can simplify and trust.
Trust myself.
Trust my gifts.
Trust the universe.
The meditative music slowly floods the space, and we are transformed back to the beginning of the play. End of scene.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Natalie. Thank you to all of your wonderful actors, Natalie included. Thank you so much. So Natalie, start off by telling me what you're looking for specifically, just remind us.
I actually didn't say. I think that the only question I have is about the convention of having the ensemble speak her thoughts. Do you feel like that works? That's my only question.
Okay, great. Does anyone want to take that first? Yes, David.
I thought it worked when they're talking about the litany of things, and because it's not a list. Gloria doesn't say what's there, but the voices. I'm assuming the voices, the yin and the yang of her, the voices in her head, settle on finally a smoothie, and then she says, "That sounds nice." I love that moment. That's one of my popcorn moments because it's offering a situation where you don't have to list everything that's going on because they're in your mind. They can be elsewhere, but finally a smoothie, and then that sounds nice, and that was spoken by the actress, and I love that moment. I thought it was very effective.
Great. Yes, and Ruthie.
Yeah, I loved it because, like, as has been mentioned before, this is a one-woman show that actually has a lot of actors in it. But if they're all like her imagination or like components of her that swirl into being and become these different characters, then like it is a one-woman show about this one character, and all the other actors and characters are part of that same person. So I think like dramaturgically, it's really interesting and it works.
I agree. And I love that you have multiple people doing the inner thoughts, even without the other imaginary characters, because it really does kind of feel like the different warring voices inside of you. It's when you have someone who has anxiety and then the other side of you trying to talk down the anxious part of you. I thought it was nice. Okay, so yes, Jen.
No, I was just going to say the one thing that I liked about what you just said, Naylor, is that the other actor's presence on stage, it becomes a manifestation of what's going on in her head. And I think it also gives a visual to, I don't know how to express it, but like a visual to coincide with the different thoughts that are going on, which makes it also visually interesting for the
audience. Externalizes internal thought processes. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Just one of the things, and I think I think I remember this properly. They started out as her demons, right? They were her parents. They were all these voices. They were the naysayers, and they become these very spiritual, very supportive, very positive sounding voices. So they have an arc that kind of follows her. Am I right that they're more like the demons telling her that she can't do it in the beginning, and they become her own voice towards the end?
I think that that's true. I would have to really track the entire thing to see if that's true, but I love that you're seeing that, because I think like finding a trajectory with all of the other characters in my show has obviously been the biggest challenge, or maybe not obviously, but that's
I turn that into what I'd like to see develop then.
Okay.
Great. So yeah, we've hit a few things, but let's go back to see if anyone else had any popcorn moments next. Yes, Chase.
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a moment, but like a feeling that I got. It felt like as the journey, when Gloria started describing what it was going to be like, it felt almost like ethereal, like she's going to experience some sort of reincarnation. Like it gave off it gave off a very familiar feeling of pieces that like a character gets to and interacts with heaven, if that makes sense. Yeah. And it made me like, once the journey started, and I guess maybe this is going into what I'd like to see develop, or maybe I wanted to participate somehow. Like when the journey started and you started moving and you started making these realizations, they're very relatable ones. So as like an audience member, I was like, I would like to take a physicalization class, or like I would like to, it that was like the first thought I had as soon as you started like physicalizing. I was like, I want to participate somehow as an audience member. But that's just, yeah.
No, I completely agree with that. Actually, I wrote it in the chat, but I loved the movement. And I think it's because things are starting to get, I think it works in multiple ways because it's relatable, but I think things are starting to get heavy. And I think it also just picks up the pace too, because it's infectious. Everyone wants to move with you, and it really excited the scene. And I thought it kept things moving really nicely.
And Gloria was very inviting with it. That's an interesting concept, Natalie, is to find moments where your audience can participate in the freeing of their spirit, the things that bring the actress up.
I think it's totally on brand too.
Yeah, exactly. I had two more popcorn moments, and they're just lines. But there is no there really resounded with me, because we always think when this happens, when the pandemic is over, when this and that and the other thing, and it's not, there is never going to happen, because once we get there, it's here. So you have to be happy with what's here. That was a powerful moment. And then when Gloria says, I think the line is step into a place of trust. Or can you do something like that? And that was an emotional thing for me.
Thank you. That is wonderful. Okay, let us move on to questions. Did you drop out at any point? Were you confused at any point? Is there anything you needed further clarification on?
I got, because I haven't maybe seen the whole thing, so I don't know quite the arc. But I did want more differentiation between the voices. Whatever that is, I don't know. But it felt like they were saying similar things. And I think they'd be more dynamic. And I also kind of wanted you to interact with them a little bit more throughout, like whether or not,
Thank you, Erin. Does anyone else, or shall we move on? Oh, yes, Chase.
Yeah, to sort of piggyback off that, because I don't think I have seen any prior pieces, I think, but any prior portions of this, but I really would like to see, do they go through this journey with you, and are these all different selves? Like, because they're sort of retroactively looking on it, and I know that, like we discussed in the piece, that like time is not necessarily a linear thing, it's more of a construct, but I'm wondering if they are in this with you, but I guess that's just all staging at that point. So yeah, maybe that falls under development. Sorry.
I think that's a very interesting question. In what tense do they speak in the beginning is it in the present that they're dragging her down, that they're scolding, that's saying she's this, that, and the other thing? And if that's the case, when they get to this point, is there a reason why they speak in future tense as opposed to in the moment towards the end when they say I don't know the exact lines.
Yeah. Thank you. That is a great question. All right, so quickly, let's move on to development. Things you'd like to see developed further. Characters, we talked a little bit. Yes, Erin.
I just want to see a full draft of this at this point. Like that's my development question, is like, when do I get to see the whole thing, Natalie? Because I feel like I've seen lots of unlike other Not saying this is any shade, no shade. But I've seen a lot of parts of it. And I want to see the whole piece because I feel like I can't give any more feedback at this point until I see it all. So just finish it. Finish it, girl. Get it done.
Okay.
Here's your inspiration to keep writing. Courtesy of Erin. No, I agree. And my development is similar to that. And what David just said is I'm really intrigued to see how the timeline plays out with it in order, because I've seen pieces, but I really don't know how they fit together. And so I'm curious how the timeline ties into the character arc through the piece. And that doesn't have an answer. That's just something I'm curious about. Yes, Ben.
I agree with Erin a little bit. And I'd like to see this on stage so that you can have your shining moment, Natalie. I really do. Because you were saying it on my show. You were saying it on my show early this year, like, and I have full confidence that you can get this on stage. I mean, I know, you know.
Oh, thank you, Ben. That's so sweet. Yes, I think Dave Michael Kirby raised his hand. Thank you for doing that in the app.
Is this the last scene? Is there more after this? Because you talk about at the end that it resets the beginning, but at the end you said end scene and not end of play. And so I'm just wondering, do you see more coming beyond this?
Should I answer that? Do you have
no, you don't have to.
My intent is that we are going to see a little bit of the play as it would have happened at the very beginning, and then a final monologue. That's my intent.
Okay.
And
so not quite the end.
Thank you, Natalie. I'm sorry I almost stepped on you. I apologize. I just saw that Ruthie also has her hand raised, and I wanted to catch Ruthie.
Yes, I'm curious about, I guess, similar to Erin, like what the ending is and what this character's final arc and like realization is. Because it feels like she's like accepting herself as she is and like taking agency over her own life. So I was, it felt a little to me like in this scene, like maybe Gloria was like magically laying out all the answers. And the release was like great, like Chase said, like it makes you want to get up and do what she's doing. But I don't know, I was like hoping for like rather than someone else coming along and like doing things for her again, or like someone else guiding her life, that she has those realizations. But I don't know. I'm not like, I don't really have experience in like therapy or you know, anything like that. So maybe this counts, but it felt like someone came along and handed her the magical answers and it helped her. It was cathartic, but I don't know why I was wondering like why she wasn't finding the answers rather than just being given them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Jen, yes.
Yeah, well, again, I'm just going to piggyback on everybody tonight. So I'm piggybacking on you, Ruthie. For me, it was that the fact that she sees this Gloria who's a coach. So she's made, at some point in time, she's made the decision to do that step. I don't know what that looks like in the play. That's because I haven't seen anything else from this. But I found it fascinating that the time, at least in this scene, where she seems the most self-possessed and present is after she lets go of everything, which I found so interesting because, you know, I think part of what Chase, when you mentioned you just kind of wanted to like do something and be moving and do it with them. And I think there are definite reach out tangents of this piece that speak to numerous different people, different settings, different whatever, because there is a great need in many of us to feel like we are ourselves. You know, God forbid, especially in the land of acting, hello, are you yourself? Well, I don't know. I might be this person or that person or what, So that concept of having a central place from which you can then go out in the world and affect change, however that looks, is very compelling. And I found this piece fascinating.
I just want to say one more thing in defense of Glory, I'll call it, because it's about trust, and the big thing that the actress, her biggest hurdle is trust, and giving trust away, being able to feel the feeling of light, of being light, of being this vast space where it's light and they're able to give themselves. So I consider, and it might be that, that the stakes need to be higher so that this moment is bigger, but I consider Gloria to be the Sharon, to get her across the river Styx to the land of trust. And I think trust is a really big theme throughout the piece. And this is the moment where she's able to find that. That's why I thought Step Into a Place of Trust was really powerful. So I don't necessarily think that it might be the wrong thing to do. I'm not saying that that's what Ruthie is saying, but I do agree that is it a bigger moment? Is she won over as opposed to coming in and being unsure? Is it something where she needs that Gloria needs to prove that this is the right place and that this can happen? Does that make sense?
No, I understand everything, and I think it's a great question. I really appreciate all of your perspectives because it helps me see things that I wouldn't see otherwise. So it gives me a lot to think about. Thank you.
Well said, all of you. Thank you so much. We are a little over time, so I am going to wrap it up now. Applause for Natalie. That was fantastic. Thank you all for such a riveting discussion about it as well. For anyone who still has more to say and anyone watching on YouTube, please fill out that feedback form. Again, we also have it on Zoom, but it'll be at the top in the description. The video description is where we will have all the links when you go to watch this later, or if you're watching now, we'll have it all in one handy place for you. So please use it. We really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for such a great night. You made my job very easy tonight. Thank you all. We're going to do a quick few things before we leave. First, just a little bit about us. Again, we're a 501c3 based in Manhattan, which means everything we do is made possible by kind donations from all of you lovely folks. So if anyone is interested in donating to help us produce more labs, produce more works, put more things in development, please, you can donate on our Facebook. You can donate via Venmo. You can donate on our website. You can donate a whole bunch of ways. The website actually lists out every way you can donate. We'll have links on YouTube as well. We really do appreciate anything. No amount is too small. If you want to keep staying involved with us in general, you should follow our newsletter. It comes out once every other week, bi-weekly, or bi-monthly. Which one is it?
Bi-weekly.
It is bi-weekly. Okay, someone help me. So it comes out bi-weekly and it lists everything that we have going on. If you want to participate as an actor, as a writer, casting calls, all of the exciting things we have going on. We have a few new announcements coming out soon on our newsletter that you should be on the lookout for. So please follow it. Other than that, if you're interested in being an actor in our next lab, Lab 50, we will have a doodle for that too. You can sign up. I can't believe we're already at 50. It's insane, but please come back. Everyone who's been here before, everyone who's new, Sayini, please come back. We loved having you here. You did a fabulous job as Gloria. We'd love to have you back. And anyone watching on YouTube who wants to join us, sign up. And finally, last but not least, certainly not least, I'm going to pass this on to Perrin, who will talk a little bit about a very exciting night that's coming up. And Perrin, take it away.
Yeah, so I was honored to get a New York City Artist Grant for this website, or web series rather, not website, that I wrote about my work as a standardized patient, which most people don't know about. If they do, they're like, oh, like that Seinfeld episode, right? With like Kramer or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I've never even seen that episode, but yeah, sure. But basically we pretend to be patients and student doctors examine us, and then we give them feedback on their communication skills or whatever. And it's an important job. I mean, hopefully it helps develop doctors to be empathic towards their patients. But it's also a crazy job where like they do all sorts of crazy things, like telling me they're gonna go behind me and bang me a little and like things like that. So we've so I was talking for years about how someone needed to write some sort of play or something about this, and I got the opportunity to do it, and I started developing it here with New Ambassadors, and they have been generous enough to help produce this with me, and it's been a really wonderful experience, great pleasure, tons of talent. A lot of the people that are here tonight are in it. David Michael Kirby, David Adam Gill, Erin Mohan, myself. Chase has been involved in various other readings of it. Unfortunately, I took his role this time. But yeah, I mean, it's very exciting. It's going to be on October 28th at 8 p.m. here on the YouTube channel that you're watching right now. And I hope you all can join. I've also created a program for everyone that so you can see who's all in it, see what their bios are, get excited about it. You can also, there's an interview with myself and Todd Butera, who's also part of the company. And soon I'll be releasing an interview with David Adam Gill and Todd talking about it. So I hope you will check those out. They're also on the New Ambassador Facebook group page. And I hope you'll check us out because I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And we're honored to have you give us this gift of helping produce it. It's a wonderful piece, and it's really funny. Everyone should definitely tune in. It's really extraordinarily good. It's good.
Very funny. You will laugh the entire time. Everyone should join. It'll be a mistake if you don't. All the details are also on that newsletter and website and Facebook, live on YouTube on the 28th.
28th at 8 p.m.
28th. David, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, I just want to, as we talked about the Lab 50 acting doodle, but Lab 50 is on November 5th. So that's a Friday, hosted by Jackie Silver. Featured playwrights include the one and only David Michael Kirby, Mark Hoffmeyer, and Laura McLean is coming back. She's a new writer with us, but she's also acted, and this is a piece she's been working on. So it's going to be a great night of theater. And that's it. I want to thank Miley Binion for hosting. You're so wonderful, and for stepping in at the last minute on Erin's piece, which was great because it worked and it was beautiful. Thank you to Ben Dworkin for being our Zoom chat representative.
Woo woo! Always. Thank you, Ben.
Always.
Couldn't do it without you.
You're part of the team, Ben.
I love you all. You all have been so great to me for the past 2 years and many more years to come. Because I love you all. You're all my favorite people. That is uplifted.
Because there is no there. It's just here. It's now. Right, Ben? We love you too.
Yeah, I just love all of you. You guys are all amazing. You guys are all really amazing. And, you have supported me so much for a guy with autism.
You've supported us, Ben. You're a very important part of the company.
Yeah.
You are.
It's
so just know that.
I know I may not be the best with my social skills, but through it all, we get through it.
Of course we do.
And
of course we do.
Love all of you tremendously.
That's such a positive note to end it on too, Ben. We love you.
Thank you to
and
the
we love
playwrights.
everyone on YouTube still watching.
Yes. Thank you to the playwrights as well. Thank you to the actors for giving us your time. You're always extraordinary. And again, welcome. Sayuni, please come back. Sign up for the next lab. And we'll see you on the 28th. Make sure you see it, and it'll be up on YouTube afterwards. But go there, go for the live. You got to go for the live.
Yes,
Better live.
It's going to be really, really funny. It's going to take everything the actors have not to laugh while we're doing it. So
I can't wait till we're all live again.
That's how funny it is. That's it. We are going to go say goodbye.
Hi, YouTube.
As I eye the
Bye, YouTube. See you.